I don't remember any of it.
You don't remember?
For you, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 113. Just a note before we start that you guys can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, YouTube, and Vero at Rated G for Gamers. You can always email us at info@ratedgforgamers.com. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave. I play too many video games at PAX Ratino. This is my co-host, Dan. He loves Shaq Fu too much. Robinson.
What's going on, man?
Well, as you may know, we just got back from PAX.
And boy, are our arms tired.
Then there it is. He will be here all week, folks.
Thank you.
He will be here all week.
You. No tomatoes thrown at me. Thank you.
So this is our big PAX Roundup show. It is going to be a regular show. We are going to have news. We're going to go over our pickups, and we are going to do our PAX coverage of 2018.
Well, the biggest news of PAX is that we didn't catch the PAX plague.
We did not. Knock on wood.
Yes.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I thought I did. I posted on Instagram. I had a large green tea with honey because my throat was a little itchy.
Right.
Like the day after PAX.
Oh,
see?
Like
I caught it.
You fought it off.
No. I fought it off.
Mm-hmm. Well, but and it was, it was 4 days this week, or 4 days this year. So even more of a chance to catch the PAX plague.
No, but I know PAX East was 4 days. Is now all the PAX? Are they all going to be 4 days? Like, is PAX West going to be 4 days too?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't know. I don't think tickets have gone on sale yet, so we shall see.
Yeah. No. I wonder if that's a new thing going forward, and then where does it stop? What happens when it's 5 days?
I mean, they may need to go to 5 days. It all depends. Like, it depends how big it's going to get, right? But we'll get into all that during our PAX talk. I have a story for you about our flight back from PAX.
I think that was the most exciting I've ever seen.
Well, let me tell you, man. Let me tell you. So I'm going to make this as quick as possible because it will lead into the pickups and also what we've been playing this week. But we were flying back on, should we mention the airline?
No. Okay,
we were flying back on an airline from Boston to New York, and we got the message notification when we were checking in, would you be okay with offering yourself up to be on standby? And I was like, let me see what's up with this.
And I said, hell no. I want to go home. I've been here for 5 days.
Danny was straight up nope.
I want to go home. I'm ready to go home.
I followed through a little bit further, and they asked, like, okay, how much would you be willing to give up your seat for? And I put in that dollar amount, whatever else, and yada, yada, yada. So we're sitting in the terminal, and they basically call me up because they overbooked the flight, which is what airlines love to do because they don't want to have empty seats. And when that comes around, they basically have to scramble to get people to give up their seats so other people can fly if they are dead set on flying that day. There were some people who had to get home. So I went up and I tried to play middleman between the people who were upset and the airline, just trying to make everybody happy and, mainly so I could get my voucher and go. Right. So, I mean, that's what happened. I gave up my seat. They gave me $800 gift card, which is great.
Nice.
I got hotel accommodations and all my meals for dinner and breakfast were paid for. How was
the hotel?
The hotel was great.
Okay.
The hotel, I think, was a little better than the hotel that we stayed at.
Nice.
In Boston. At the convention. So, yeah. So, I mean, the only downside to all this is that I had to get up early in the morning. I had to get up at like 4 a.m.
You took the first flight out, right?
I did, yeah. So we would have done that we would have flown out together if you had stayed over, and you would have had an $800 gift card in your possession.
You know what? The $800 gift card sounds great, and it would have been awesome. But I wanted to get home. I
understand. I felt tired. I got home
exhausted.
Yeah, I got home at like 8:39, and I passed out till like afternoon to make up that time.
Nice. But I mean, and listen, the lady who took your seat, she was nice. She passed out on the plane ride back. So
there you go.
So
there you go.
But you got an $800 gift card.
You want to know what I got with that $800 gift card?
Which turns into more video games.
That's right. Well, I was wafering. I was like wanting to get a PS4 Pro.
You all about that 4K upscaling?
Hell yeah, I am. I'm all about that 4K upscaling because I want to be able to play Wipeout in VR. With the good graphics, with the enhanced visuals, with the nice crisp edges and all that, and I was right on the fence about buying it right before PAX, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna wait, because if I buy it now, I still can't play it till I get back anyway. What's the difference?
And that was a good decision.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
So what else did you pick up? I mean, tell me the big pickups that you got.
Okay. Well, I bought Rhyme with the extra gift card that I got. I bought.
Wait, for what system?
I got Rhyme for the Switch.
Okay.
I got Rhyme for the Switch. Picked up Far Cry 5 for Xbox One. I picked up Muramasa for the Vita.
What?
Uh-huh.
What?
Muramasa Blade, I think, is the name of the game. It was a Wii game that was ported to the Vita. The Vita is the better port. The only reason
this Muramasa
the Rebirth.
Yes,
Muramasa
yes,
Rebirth.
Yes. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah. So the only reason I know this game is because my coworker was like, "This game is great. Have you heard of this game?" I said, "No." So I went home, that day, and I had the gift card. I'm like, "Well, sure, I'll get it."
You just went on a spending spree.
Yeah, a little bit. And then I also got Okami HD out of that. I also got
IGN's Game of the Year.
IGN's Game of the Year?
Back in like 2012, 2011, something like that.
Okay. I know what you're saying. I'm a little late to the party.
Yeah,
Fine. It's fine. I still get to play it. And then from our fellow Instagrammer, Black Label Gaming, we did some trades. I gave him some of my Dragon Warrior games. He gave me Chariot on PC, Guacamelee on PC, both physicals, Arc the Lad for PS2, and Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain for the X1.
Nice.
So I got a pretty big pickup there. Let me tell you.
That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mr. Robinson, please enlighten us on your pickups.
I went a little, as we do every PAX, I went a little crazy.
Yeah, you did.
At limited run.
Yeah, you did.
Limited run games.
Oh, well, okay. I totally forgot about my limited run games, but go ahead because I got most of the same games you did.
So I picked up River City Melee, the collector's edition, because it was the only thing they had left.
Right, with the Nintendo cartridge and all
with
that.
The Nintendo cartridge,
Nintendo
the soundtrack, with the Nintendo cover.
Yeah.
Dust cover. It had the soundtrack. I kind of regret. I got Double Dragon 4. I've been going crazy. I want that game. But I should have bought it.
That completely average, straight 6, Double Dragon 4.
That game is awesome.
I mean, it's kind of fun, but
listen,
it ain't no thing.
Did you like Double Dragon 2?
I mean, it was.
Did you like Double Dragon?
It was
1?
Okay.
Did you like Double Dragon 2?
There were problems with both those games. I thought 1 was better than 2, surprisingly.
Okay, guess what? This is the same thing.
Yeah, but story. I need something new. I'm sorry. I'm basically just playing Double Dragon 2 again.
Yes, just different story. This is
all right.
This is pulling on my nostalgia string.
That's why you like it.
That's why I like it. So old school game, nothing new about it.
Right.
It is literally an old school game with all the flaws of the old game.
I know. See, therein lies my problem.
There lies why I loved it.
Uh-huh.
Can't get past level 7 without help. I mean, we got to play it together.
Yeah, we'll beat it. So I'll rock that game with you.
I do regret not getting the collector's edition. So I got the regular edition.
You get the soundtrack?
No.
With the collector's edition?
You get the soundtrack, get the art book, and you get the
dust jacket.
The dust jacket for which is weird because I wouldn't use it at all.
Right. I mean, it's just going around a case that's already a case anyway.
Yeah, it's just nostalgia. So, all right, so I got Double Dragon 4. I got Night Trap.
Nice.
I owned the original for 32X. Game is awful, but I had to buy it.
You gotta have it in the collection.
I want to play it. I've never played it. I have it, but I never played it. I want to play it.
I haven't played it either. I still have my PC copy sealed. I know Paris thought, but I'm not going to install that game.
Never going to open it.
I've seen someone play it before. I've seen the whole game. It's nothing special.
All right, you want to talk about sealed? So I am going. Well, I don't know how successful I'll be, but I want to have all the bundles: Amiibo, Wii U bundles, and 3DS Amiibo bundles. All right,
getting on an Amiibo train.
Getting on an Amiibo train. So I got Mega Man Legacy Collection.
Nice.
With the gold Mega Man bundle, Amiibo bundle. I already have that game.
Right.
But I have it. I bought it. Maybe spent just a little bit too much money for it, but I had it sealed.
It's okay.
I know all of you collectors who like sealed things are gonna cringe. Open that puppy up. So it has like other like trading cards and stuff in it.
Yeah. You want to put that all out.
I want to
put it on display.
Yeah, I want to take it, and I wanted to make sure I didn't get gypped.
Right? Did they just heat seal it back up and put a rock inside?
I know. So
it has happened.
Pick that up. I got Time Crisis for PS1. WWF SmackDown 2.
Nice.
Some say that's the better SmackDown.
Do you know who was on the cover of that?
Well, yeah, The Rock and Triple H.
My boy, The Rock.
Sorry, Mike, because Mike always holds this as a carrot over my head because he has it and says he's going to give it to me and it never gives it to me.
Right.
I went out and bought it myself, Michael.
Well, that game ain't. Mike, that game ain't nothing to lord over somebody. And you know what? Give him your games, goddammit. This man is dying over here. Give him your games.
Thank you.
Give him your games.
He promised. He's an Indian promise giver.
Oh, I know. Look. I didn't get to razz you at PAX about that, but you got to give him your games. Come on now. You're killing him.
So I got the Power Pad set for the NES in box.
Nice.
Box is a little,
well, it's from the 80s. Yeah.
The box is a little wear and tear.
Yeah.
Mike thought it would be worth a little bit more, and I told him how much I paid for it. He was a little disappointed. He thought it'd be worth a little bit more.
Oh, he's got one too.
But he has it in box. I think the box is in pretty good condition.
Wow, interesting.
So
it's not in high demand.
It is not in high demand at all. I have no idea when I'm going to test it.
Well,
I have the track game, and I have the triple. I have the triple track Mario and Duck Hunt game as well.
Right.
Remember playing that as a kid. Love that thing. I'm finally. I joined the party. I have Overwatch.
Nice
for the X1.
Nice, and you will never play it.
It will probably stay sealed for a while.
Yeah, it's multiplayer only, so here you go.
Well, do you have Overwatch, right?
For the PC.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah, and it does not support, it does not support crossplay.
Come on, Overwatch, crossplay.
I mean, it would be nice, but that game needs to run like flawlessly. Otherwise, people will be in uproar.
I finally bit the bullet, and I got Skyrim VR for PS4. I'm gonna go experience Skyrim on PS4 in VR, and
it's gonna be epic, man.
And it's gonna be epically buggy.
Well,
and I'm still having. I'm like, I don't know how many hours I've been playing Skyrim on the Switch. So, and lastly, I got Giana Sisters for the 3DS.
Nice. I still find that very funny. The game that ripped off Super Mario Brothers back in the day, which Nintendo I think filed a lawsuit against them, is now coming back again to be on a Nintendo product, and Nintendo is okay with that.
Well, I mean, they're getting paid. They're getting paid too.
There you go, money. Yeah. Now they're getting there.
First of all, Giana Sisters. Giana Sisters was released in Europe, right?
I think so. Yeah. It was for the Commodore, I think.
Yeah, and it was
and maybe Amiga.
It was literally a clone of Mario Brothers.
Yeah, it was insane.
With just two girls, sisters.
Right. Mushrooms were now like lightning bolts, I think, or whatever. Yeah.
But this isn't. This isn't a clone.
No. It's definitely its own game, right? But I mean, it has that history behind it, which is kind of funny.
I like the Giana Sisters for the Wii U because you can switch. You had sort of like the crazy sister and the light sister. You sort of you switch from the dark level to the light level.
Yeah. I have it for the. It was a download on the Xbox, so I played a little bit.
So Giana Sisters for the DS was expensive.
Well,
it wasn't cheap.
I didn't know that.
It is one of those. I don't know, rare games, but it's one of those sort of like hidden gems that's expensive. So I definitely paid a little bit more than I wanted to, but I really wanted the game. I really wanted to play the game.
Right. All right.
So
fair enough.
So that was my pickups, and I left a lot of stuff out that was sort of like irrelevant. I'm probably never going to play.
Right.
Well, anytime soon.
Right.
But that's sort of like a summary of my pickups.
Nice.
So Dave, as we always try to start the show and always epically fail. What have you been playing?
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what I am playing, and what will still be playing in even better resolution is the Wipeout Omega Collection on PSVR, which you need to get on and download that patch and play with us.
I don't know, playing.
Just download it and play it. Come on, it's great. I am giving you a ringing endorsement. You have everything already. I'm not asking you to buy anything. Just jump on, play a couple rounds. None of us are that good.
Is it multiplayer in VR?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. You can get up to 8 people per race, I think. Maybe more, maybe 10.
Oh,
it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. But now that I have the PS4 Pro, I can get that transfer over, get all the save states over, pop that game in.
All right. I'll try it.
It's gonna be good.
All right.
I'm just saying.
I'll try. I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot.
So that's the game at home. I am sadly not playing that much else. This week has been crazy. Decompressing from PAX, trying to get back into the swing of things at work. You know how it is. So on the go, playing Enter the Gungeon, still, which is great.
On the Switch.
On the Switch.
Yeah.
On the go.
It's funny how you use the Switch mostly in handheld.
I think I'm bridging 99%. I don't know the last time I put it in the dock and took off the Joy-Cons and used it on the TV.
Yeah.
It's just so easy to pick up and play. I don't know. I just enjoy it like being right there in front of me.
And I enjoy it being a console.
Yeah.
I literally use it as a console. Now, but this is the reaction that Nintendo wants.
Right.
They want to cater to you, the handheld gamer, and they want to cater to me, the console gamer.
There's no wrong way to play this system.
No.
You know?
I don't even play with the Joy-Cons.
Right. Well, you have the Pro Controller.
I have the Pro Controller.
Yeah, I got to get myself a Pro Controller.
If anything, I got to buy another Pro Controller. Right? I think that is the ideal way for me to play my Nintendo Switch games.
Wait, with 2 Pro Controllers?
Well, with the Pro, just
I see. Over. I would have the Pro Controller. You would have the Pro Controller. 2 Pro Controllers hooked up.
Yeah. If we play, like if we play multiplayer.
Yep.
Well, co-op.
Right.
So
I'm with that.
Which reminds me, we gotta play A Way Out.
Yes.
You don't need the game to play with me.
Yes. We will most definitely do that. We were supposed to play before PAX, I think. We were going to try and play this weekend, but that never happened. So okay, fine.
This week we gotta try A Way Out.
We will find a way out.
We will find a way out.
We'll rock some Wipeout. We'll play some A Way Out. Oh, that sounds good. It's a good week. It's gonna be a good week.
So I know everyone's mad because I sold out. I brought Star Wars Battlefront 2.
I'm still mad.
Dude, I fought the good fight with everyone. I protested.
You did.
Okay?
I know.
Right? Even though I don't even play multiplayer.
I know. That's fine. That's fine.
The loot boxes don't mean anything.
That's fine. And then you walked across the line. You became a scab and bought Battlefront 2.
Shut up! I got it for $20.
I don't care what you paid for it. You're still a scab.
I got it for $20. They didn't even put. They didn't even put the mic. It's fixed permanently, right? It's fixed.
Yeah. Again, I think we said it before too. I want to see what they do with their next game.
Yeah.
How bad is the DLC and the microtransactions for the next game?
Yeah. So I beat the storyline for Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Nice.
Nice. It's sort of like 2 arcs where you play as you play as the bad guy in the first arc. Well, the first arc is sort of like after episode 6.
Right.
Right. And then you play it as a young, sort of like a young trooper. Right.
So you're playing for the dark side.
You're playing
right?
You're playing for the Empire.
Right.
I would say my only complaint is you only play for the dark side maybe 2 levels.
Right.
All right. So it wasn't as advertised, where it's like now you really get to play as a character that's playing on the other side and see it from their perspective.
Right.
I saw it from her perspective for 2 levels.
Right.
That wasn't long enough.
That's what people say. Very short campaign.
The campaign wasn't that short. The campaign, I would say about 6-7 hours.
Okay.
I think it was decent.
Okay.
Right? Because this is mostly a multiplayer game.
Right. Well, yeah, it's multiplayer at the heart. Yeah.
At the heart.
With tacked on single player.
Tacked on single player. So it was between 5 to 7 hours.
Right.
Right. Depending on what difficulty.
You feel there was enough content in there at $20
Oh, I got my money's worth.
Okay.
Oh.
$60.
Nah,
No, definitely
maybe
not.
not.
No,
Maybe not.
I can definitely see the hesitation.
$40. Listen, if this was like a $40 game,
Right.
just standalone storyline,
Yeah.
it would have been good. Been pretty good.
All right.
So I played the story. I played the story. Liked it. I wish most of the first act I played as the bad guy, and then sort of like towards the end of the first act, it was I saw the light, and now I'm playing for
the good guy,
the
Jedi.
rebellion.
Yeah, the rebellion. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So I think I turned good too quickly.
I see. There wasn't enough build up.
There wasn't enough build up. So I think that was my only complaint about the game. And then in the second act, it sort of takes place before episode 7.
Right. Okay. So it kind of bridges the gap between 6 and 7. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and they leave room for another storyline down the line. Or if it doesn't happen, it's done. Which I'm okay with.
Right.
I liked it. The only thing I didn't like about the game, like really didn't like about the game, was just playing in space.
Oh, space battles.
Space battles.
Yeah, yeah. They're not for everybody.
They're not for everybody. It's hard to aim. It's hard to shoot.
Right.
There is no lock on targeting. And they literally mix up. They mix it up a little bit where you're on the ground, and then you're back in space.
Right.
And then you're on the ground, and then you're back in space.
Yeah. I mean, at least they're putting variety in there. You know.
I know, but it was such a pain. It was such a. I had to change the difficulty settings because I played it on normal. I had to change it to easy when we were playing in space because I hate. I'm not. Listen, I hate space battles. It is totally hard to steer the stupid shit.
Not your jam.
It is not my jam. Not
your jam. Final Fantasy games, stealth games, and space battles. Not Dan's jam.
Not my thing. Not my thing. And then finally, I cracked open Far Cry 5. Sadly, didn't get too far into it. But I sort of played through the tutorial and sort of like the first mission. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. It's too early for me to really have a judgment on the game.
Right.
At all.
Right.
But I like it. Listen, I thought it was cool.
Yeah. Voice acting is on point so far.
So far.
Okay.
So far, everyone's complaining about the bad guy in this
one.
one. He's not
Joseph, Father Joseph, or whatever it is.
He's not as memorable. Listen, he's evil. He's a douchebag.
Well,
I like him. Well, as a bad guy, I don't like him.
Yeah. No, I associate with that guy. It's good. No, I like him. He's a good guy.
I like him as a bad guy.
Right. He's an interesting character.
Yeah, to me.
It's part of the story.
Yeah, but again, I can't really have a big opinion overall because I haven't really played the game.
Still in the
I will say, I like my linear games. It does not, as far as where I am, it does not really tell you what to do, where to go.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the mini map, which people are like saying, yeah, we don't need the mini map. Yes, it should be an option. I want the mini map.
Yeah. Well, okay.
You can easily
get lost.
Not even just get lost. Like they're like different compounds where this is a compound where you'll never beat it unless you're like leveled up. Right. But I would never know that unless you go and try and then find out I'm never going to beat this.
Right.
I'd rather not try.
You'd rather know this is a level 7 compound and you need to be at level 7.
Yes.
I'm only level 2. What's up? Yeah.
I don't want to waste my time in dying 20 times trying to beat it.
Something to be said about that. I'm going to bring this up, and Dan's going to throw his hands up and cheer.
My hands are up
because
my hands are up.
because as a grown man gamer, as Dan likes to say, as an adult who doesn't have a lot of time.
GMG, baby, wear the T-shirt.
Oh my God,
grown man gamer.
We don't have T-shirts.
I'll make them.
No, I ain't gonna wear it. But I'm just saying, like, as an adult who doesn't necessarily have a lot of time, you want to get to the good bits and not have to play 20 times to get to the thing where they could just put a little icon and tell you, like, look, you should be going to this area first and not this area. So I get that.
Even a tutorial. Literally.
Right.
I'm not going to spoil it for you, even though it is the tutorial.
Uh-huh.
Like, they throw you in.
Right.
Right? And I have no idea where I need to go.
Right.
I'm literally lost with no weapons.
Right. And I think it'll become more apparent as you start to play. I think maybe they'll get better with the contextual, like, down by the farm is where the thing and there's the mission, and hopefully they lay out the map where it's like easily like here's a road that'll get you there and whatnot. Because like ideally it should be intuitive to where you don't need the map and it's just like you'll naturally go that way, like in Zelda, right?
Yeah.
When you look at the path of Zelda, they basically lead you to the first dungeon, right? You get off the plateau, you go down, You go to the first town, you figure that out, and then you meander around, and you eventually get to Zora's temple, or whatever it is, the giant water temple, the giant elephant and whatnot. Not everybody did that necessarily, but there is that way to go that way. And I think a lot of people who didn't do that, like, veered off the path purposely to go do something else. And that's, like, cool. Like, Zelda's kind of built that way, where you can kind of do whatever.
But you can beat Ganon without...
You can go right there.
Without beating the 4 sort of dungeons.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's just a little harder, but you can beat Ganon.
Right.
Right?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't gotten into Far Cry yet. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's not the same as Zelda, but I'm drawing that comparison to say that the minimap isn't necessary to get to the first dungeon. You could probably get there without, like, using the map per se.
What my argument would be, I understand people want less linear.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to be less handholdy, if that's not even a word.
Yeah,
it is now. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. It needs to be an option.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be an option. If you
want to play without it or play with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It shouldn't just be innately, this is what it is, figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. Because I don't have that type of time to figure it out.
I hear you.
All right. Because especially in an open world game where it takes 100 hours, I don't have 100 hours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it needs to be, hey, for those gamers who have nothing else to do,
right,
they can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I need you to tell me where to go and what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. That's all I want.
All right.
All right. So let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll get into the top 10 gaming news of last week.
And in our convo of the week, PAX East 2018.
And we're back. All right, let's get into the news.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about Billy Mitchell, right? The king of King Kong,
the king of Donkey Kong, the king of King Kong.
He's the King Kong of Donkey Kong.
He is the King Kong of Donkey Kong. He was the King Kong of Donkey Kong.
Well, now it's over. I mean, they have officially taken down his top score.
Well, they've taken down all of his top scores, I think, right?
Yeah, no,
because he was apparently playing on emulated hardware, playing on a MAME cabinet, which is not allowed by the Twin Galaxies scoreboard or scoring academy or whatever it is. Whatever their rules, their rules state you must play on original hardware.
I know, but they were pretty quiet, right? When we talked about it, they didn't have a statement or anything.
Well, they had to go over and, like, verify the footage and whatnot, and, like, make sure the claims were true, and they had to do their due diligence, I think.
Well, I mean, it took like 4 months. I mean, we talked about this at the end of last year.
Maybe. I thought we talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Well, earlier this year.
Earlier this year, we talked about it. Yeah.
It seems like this was so long ago. Like, this is something. Well, first of all, even. It was sort of like taped, right? Like there was video of him getting that high score.
Right.
They didn't do the due diligence when he submitted that tape and find out that this wasn't like original arcade.
Well, here's the thing. There are some very, very specific things that people are looking out for. You would never notice looking at that unless you were, like, really going like frame by frame. And they did. Some guys went, like, frame by frame to, like, analyze the difference between what would happen on MAME hardware versus, like, a regular cabinet.
Well, I would call into question Twin Galaxies now, right? Because they literally officially had him up as, the king.
He was the top scorer, yeah.
The top scorer in Donkey Kong for years, right? And now now they go by frame and figure out that.
Well, I mean, it wasn't even them.
It was
like,
impossible to get that score.
Somebody ended up putting a claim in, and then they had to look at it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's it's like tough. It definitely calls into question Twin Galaxies. It calls into question that. So, like, there's basically 2 ways to get your score up there for Twin Galaxies. One is by videotape, like you said, and then one is by referee, right? A referee needs to be verified by twin galaxies, whatever, need to go through some simple test or whatever it is, I think. And, they basically watch this person get the high score from start to finish. They make sure that the hardware is correct and whatever else, that they're not cheating. And at the end of it, they give them a thumbs up. Yep, score is good. And then it gets registered into twin galaxies, right? My thing is, like, what if a ref is a friend of yours? What if you pay him like $100 and then you can get your score up there? Yeah,
it's
possible.
I call into question twin galaxies. Not to mention, I mean, like the Guinness Book of World Records doesn't sort of like record like the high scores or in arcade cabinets. They record the biggest collection, which is The Last Gamer, right, in Australia.
I think they definitely have high scores. Like, they have to.
They don't have high. We got to look into it. They don't have high scores because then who is? I don't think so.
Maybe not. It's very interesting why they wouldn't do that. Guinness Book of World Records. I mean, they have longest, most, highest, whatever. Like video game scores would fall into that.
I just wouldn't trust twin. I mean, I'm not into like getting the highest score in arcade games, right? So I didn't even know Twin Galaxies existed until the story first broke a few months ago.
Right.
So I would call in question now all of Twin Galaxies like high leaderboards.
Well, sure. You never know.
Especially if he's had this for years.
Well, I mean, he's had it since the King of Kong, which I think was 2007, maybe 2008.
Yeah, that's like 11. It's like 10, 11 years ago.
About 10, 11 years. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Next, so Sega sort of had like a Sega event, a Sega like a sort of like a Sega experience in Tokyo.
Yeah. Like they're like fan press event type thing.
Yeah, over the weekend. And they teased some big news.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess this is sort of the big news. I was like sort of.
It's kind of all right.
I didn't lose my mind like some other a lot of YouTubers lost their mind when they heard this announcement.
Right. Okay. This news on the Dave scale is like
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Shenmue 1 and 2 being released, sort of having like an HD release for the PS4 and Xbox One and PC. Mm-hmm. No surprise, because when Shenmue 3 was announced at E3 at the Sony stage, like 2015.
Yeah.
The first thing everybody said was, "What's up? Are we gonna get remasters for Shenmue 1 and 2?"
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So that was what, 2 years ago? Almost 3 years.
3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously they've probably been working on that on the side.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming out 2018. No actual date, but I would assume sometime in the holiday season.
Probably, yeah.
Right.
It's great. I mean, we're both gonna get it.
I own Shenmue 1 and 2, Dreamcast and Xbox. I will get this.
Yeah, I mean, it's
the definitive way to play.
We're not saying they're bad games, but it's like, all right, it's it's Shenmue 1 and 2. It's like, come on now.
It's not.
It's a port.
It's not news about Shenmue 3.
Right, exactly. Which
That
we're all
would be
wondering, where's Shenmue 3? They got their Kickstarter goal. Everyone's crazy about that. I'm more excited about Shenmue 3 and what they're going to do with the game world and all that.
My only thing I question about this is Shenmue 1 and 2 is being released for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, Shenmue 3 was shown off at the Sony stage because I think Sony is backing it. So I think it at least will be a Sony timed exclusive at the least, right? Like, so Shenmue 1 and 2 is coming out on all platforms. Well, except for the Switch.
Right.
All right. So, I mean, if I was Sony, I would say I would want... Well, I guess this is a money grab from Sega.
Mm-hmm.
If Sony's backing Shenmue 3, I'm sure everybody... This tells me that Shenmue 3 is sort of a timed exclusive.
Right. Well, I mean, Sony's going to want something out of the deal, right? They're not just going to hand them $6 million and go, here, build the game. They're going to say, build the game. Put it on our system first.
No, I know, but still, but Shenmue 1 and 2 is coming to Xbox and PC.
Yeah.
And Sony's backing Shenmue 3.
Right.
They would have to be... Shenmue 3 is sort of like a timed exclusive.
Right. And then...
Why put 1 and 2 on the Xbox?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean...
If I was Sony...
People are going to buy it.
People are going to buy it, but if I was Sony, I would say, listen,
You want also 1 and 2 to only be on our system?
Well, if 3 is coming out, I want 1 and 2 to be on the system.
Wow.
Even though 2 was an Xbox only.
Wow. Big ask.
Even though 2 was Xbox only.
It was, yeah. It was Xbox exclusive, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah. It's weird that Xbox didn't step in And
Right?
To
That would have been, well, because Xbox isn't all about single player experiences, which is
true.
what Shenmue 1 and 2 were.
Well, that and the Yakuza games, right? Shenmue, the Yakuza games were an extension of the Shenmue games.
Right.
All right.
And the Yakuza games have been like great. So I can't wait to see what they have in store.
Well, 6 is dropping
very soon.
Week. As of this recording, I think it's dropping this week if I'm not mistaken. I'm still on the fence of buying it.
Right.
I have the other Yakuza games. I need to buy Yakuza 0 and 6.
I would bet a Shake Shack burger that this person right here is going to get it. Dan Robinson's going to get it. There is no question in my mind. Within the month, he's going to get it.
Well, I want the collector's edition because it comes with shot glasses and dice.
Nice.
So I don't.
You can actually play the mini games.
I would actually use the shot glasses.
Yeah, you would.
That's why I'm thinking about it. So all right, let's get into our lead story.
All right.
PS next generation, and then we talked about what we want from the next generation.
Yep.
A couple of weeks ago. PS5. It's sort of. I think PS5 specs have leaked. Right.
PS5 specs have kind of leaked.
Well, it was taken down quickly.
Right.
But, as you know, once it's on the internet, it's on the internet forever.
Right. So we know a little bit about the chip architecture. We know a rough idea of the quote-unquote teraflops that the system will have.
This was speculated to be 13 teraflops, and I think the Xbox One X is...
The One X is about 6 or so,
6 teraflops.
Right? It's about 4 for the...
Xbox
Pro. For the PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
And then about 2 to 2.5 for the Xbox and the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, so this is
similar.
This is sort of double the teraflops for what that's worth for the Xbox One X, which I guess would make sense because it would have to be more powerful than Xbox One X and PS4 Pro. AMD, and it's also using AMD base architecture, which is no surprise because I think the current generation is also using AMD architecture.
I think so, yeah.
CPU is custom Zen. But the thing that really I wanted to scratch my head on was it said people are saying that it's going to come out in 2018.
I don't think that's enough time to get the hype up.
Well, dev kits are being released now.
They have been released, or they're being released at the moment?
Well, they're saying that they're being released at the moment, and then there was another report saying that they've been out for a little bit. They've been out for a few months,
right?
Which to me still doesn't say that it's come out this year.
And
analysts have already said that the next generation of consoles are going to come out in 2020.
Right. I think 2020 is a little far. Here's what I would say. I would say 2018. This E3, Sony is going to have a teaser and a logo, and say, "Look what we have coming next year."
Are you married to that idea? I'll take that as a Shake Shack bet.
I have like 50 to 60% confidence that Sony's going to mic drop at the end of their whole thing. Like, here's all the new games coming out for PS4 and PS5 next year, 2019. I would be a little surprised if they didn't have something about it. I'll say that.
You will not hear one peep of the PS4, the PS5.
Really? Nothing about the PS4 this year.
You're not gonna hear anything about the PS4. No. You're not gonna hear anything about the PS5. And you're not gonna hear anything about the next Xbox console. That you will not hear a peep. I think you'll hear it maybe next year.
Right.
With the 2020 release.
Right.
And remember, this generation, February of 2013, it was they officially announced the specs of the PS4.
Right.
And in E3 of 2013, they released, what the console looked like,
right?
The controller, the price, and then it released in the holiday of 2013. The same thing for Xbox.
Yep.
Xbox, I think, officially released the specs in like April and May,
right,
of 2013. And
right, everyone had the uproar over the whole like
the Kinect.
Well, the Kinect monitoring how many people were in the room and like
always online.
Right, and the way you have to like
can't play used games.
Right. You can let people like borrow a license and all that. Like, yeah, there was a lot of that. And by the time E3 pulled around, Xbox was like, we're getting rid of all that. Don't worry about it. We made a mistake. So
No. At E3, that's when they announced it. At E3, that's when they announced it.
oh, then they ended up amending that. At
They
whatever
amended it the previous sort of like they actually walked everything back like a month later.
Yeah. Which was just it was a bad look on Microsoft's part. I will say I think you are right. They may be a little bit more tight-lipped. They may want to keep it. They may want to keep the news sealed until they're ready to launch it that year. Because like Nintendo was very hesitant about like telling people about, hey, we have this thing called the Switch coming out. Because
The NX.
once you end up putting that out there, then everybody sees what it is and they go, oh, we're going to do that, and we're going to do it better than you, and we're going to come out before your system comes out. And then it's like, well, now we got nothing. So Nintendo waited as long as they could, and then they're like, hey, now we have the Switch.
Well, remember the NX was sort of at sort of like a. It was announced. The NX was sort of announced only in those corporate sort of like.
It was all behind the scenes and whatnot, yeah.
Right, and it was just like the NX. What's that going to be? Right, and then there were leaks. There were semi leaks, and everyone was like sort of duct taping. Everyone was duct taping Wii remotes
to the sides of like a Wii U or something.
The Wii U pad, and it was like, this is going to be the NX.
Yeah. Which I mean, it kind of
essentially was, right?
So it kind of turned out to be that.
Also interesting was VR baked in to the PS5 at a silicon level, which I think is on point. So you won't need that little that walkthrough box, that little box, that go between box.
The pass through, yeah. Which is annoying. I mean, it's nice that it has like the same like curve or the slant that the PS4 does, so it does kind of match, but
it's annoying. It's way too many wires.
Right. It's an extra piece and whatnot. So you're still going to need the headset. Obviously, that's not going to come built in, but it'll just directly plug in via hopefully one cable.
But some of the specs are too beefy, and everyone's speculating that this could be just the dev kit for the PS5.
Right. Dev kits,
and I can believe that too.
Dev kits typically a little bit more powerful, so they can kind of, run in debug mode and diagnose and whatever, and do all these different things that the end user doesn't necessarily need. They need a little bit more headroom.
So it may not be 13 teraflops, maybe around 10.
I mean,
9 to 10.
That's more than double what the Xbox One X has, in terms of like overall compute power. So yeah, I mean, I could see like 9 or 10 being like the sweet spot for it.
But I think we're at the point has to be 500 gigabytes. Like, no.
Oh yeah, no, that's
like,
nothing.
No,
that's going to be like 2 games now.
Yeah, basically.
it has to be at least a terabyte.
Games are gonna be 100 gigabytes.
Right? And hard drive space is not that expensive, and the hard drives that are in there aren't anything that crazy. You know.
So I think these leaks are true, but I think it's for the dev kit.
Right.
So, but PS5 2020.
2020. Ooh,
yeah.
Bold claim.
But all right, but you know what release date we did get? Segway. Yes. Spiderman.
I was just gonna let that go, and then you really had to punctuate it.
I had to punctuate it. I had to have the fist pump.
All right, round of golf class for Dan and a Segway. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Always on point.
Spider-Man. I was wrong. I thought Spider-Man would get pushed. We got a release date.
Incorrect. You owe me a Shake Shack.
I don't think I owe you a Shake Shack. We're gonna make a bet on Spider-Man.
We need to get a tally board going of all the bets and how many times Dan has been wrong and welched on those bets.
I think it's Dan wrong once, Dave wrong 20 times. I think that's.
I've only bought you one Shake Shack meal.
I think that's where we are. But Spider-Man's coming out in September. Early. That's pretty early. I thought this would be at worst, early next year.
I mean, they had pretty complete footage of that one scene last E3, right? And they had more stuff at PlayStation Experience. It looked pretty damn polished to me, So I think
it's ready to go.
I think we're gonna get playable demos at E3. I wish there was playable demos at PAX. Spoilers, there were not.
But listen, this is good. So September is going to start the holidays off, man.
Yeah,
right.
That's gonna be good.
Well, Metal Gear came out in September too.
That's right.
Metal Gear 5.
That's right. That kind of like kicked off the whole holiday buying season, I think.
Yeah. So, but again, another game that moved out of the way of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Smart move.
Smart
move. Don't go up against a heavy hitter,
So, also another big news while we were back. The worst kept secret in video games, 2018. Spyro the Dragon Remastered Trilogy. It's official. It's coming out. I think this is coming out September as well.
Right.
The thing that everyone was scratching their head on, we thought this would be sort of like a PlayStation
exclusive,
timed exclusive, like Crash was. But now from the get go, it's coming out PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah, interesting. Wait, PS4 and Xbox.
PS4 and Xbox One.
And Switch.
And maybe Switch.
That's a big omission right there. For a game that has a cute mascot character that would fit right on the Nintendo home console, on a game that is a remaster that wouldn't take that a lot, it wouldn't take a crazy amount of horsepower to rework it for the Switch. It's interesting that it's not on Switch.
Switch announcement forthcoming.
It's got to be.
Switch announcement forthcoming.
Yeah, I would definitely put a bet on that.
Right, they just have to they have to finalize the amiibo.
Oh my God, a Spyro amiibo. See, now you're talking. Now you're talking. That's synergy right there. Then you get the special edition with the amiibo packed in. It's another thing you got to buy now.
Yeah. And then we haven't had so far. We haven't had Switch amiibo bundles yet. We haven't had that yet.
Oh, like with the
we had that all with the Wii U,
right?
But we haven't had that with the Switch yet. I am all in.
Or you can buy like a Spyro amiibo. Or you can buy the Spyro themed Switch with the Spyro amiibo and the Spyro game built in.
I would buy that. I would buy that whole thing.
That'd be awesome.
My only issue with the Mario Special Edition, Mario Odyssey Special Edition that came out, there was only red Joy-Cons. It wasn't like the back of the Switch was like Mario themed or the dock. They were missing out.
I know. They could have done like a whole thing, you know?
The dock would have been great having like a Mario themed dock.
Wrap it in red, put a big M on the front.
Yeah. Like you have to get that custom. That doesn't make any sense.
I know.
That's so weird.
Well, I mean, it makes way for like people like Doyle's Customs to do all these great skins and mods and whatever of like the case equipment. And then there's people that make like the stickers and the little like pot holder things that go over the top. There's a big third party market.
It's a big third party market for that. And they probably don't want to disturb that.
Well, I mean,
they would make it better.
Yeah, they would. They would
buy it.
They would put out high quality products. That wouldn't break your system.
Nintendo, you're leaving money on the table, man.
I know.
Listen, you have that one for free. All right, next Xbox. Well, PlayStation has PlayStation Experience.
Right. That's in December.
Xbox has sort of had like Xbox Fan Fest every sort of E3, and they've had it for the last 4 years. This year it's going to be a little bit bigger because they've already announced that E3, they're going to have a presence on the E3 floor, a small presence, but they're
very small presence.
Very small. Their booth is very small compared to other people's booths. Compared to Nintendo and PlayStation.
Right.
But they're going to have, there's a Microsoft Theater that's across the street in LA. And they're going to rent that out and have E3 there. So it's going to be a bigger E3 showing. They have a sort of like a bigger footprint on E3, and FanFest this year for Xbox is going to be a little bit bigger. So and how it works is it's not like PlayStation Experience where you could just buy your tickets, right? And if tickets sold out, they're sold out. But with FanFest, you have to enter a lottery.
Yep.
And
then you get the opportunity to buy the tickets.
To buy $40 for the tickets.
Which is weird, and I just don't see the raffle situation, because you just put up 3,000 tickets, and then there's 3,000 tickets, and then whoever buys them buys them.
Well, I think it'd be more than 3,000 tickets.
Well, whatever it is, yeah. I don't know what the numbers would be. Well, like 10,000 maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but is it time that Xbox Fan Fest sort of move away from E3 and be its
branches out and
be its own thing at some point during the year?
Well, I mean, we talked about it, I think, towards the end of last year, like the Xbox Experience ? And I think we were both pretty positive on like, yeah, Xbox should do their own thing, and have something for the fans and have that be oriented, somewhere that doesn't conflict with another convention, which I know is getting tough because there's cons like all throughout the year. But I think it'd be good for Microsoft to do that.
Well, see, PlayStation's at a prime point, PlayStation Experience, because you have E3 in June and you have announcements there, right? You have Tokyo Game Show in September. They have announcements there. PlayStation usually doesn't have any announcements at Gamescom, which is in August,
right?
And no one really has major news to go to PAX East, West, Aussie, right? So, and then they, for some weird reason, Sony does have announcements, slight announcements at Paris Games Week,
right?
And then PlayStation Experience is literally days after the Video Game Awards in December, which is pretty much 6 months out from E3.
Right. It's
so
like a good half year, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a prime spot to have, sort of like one big announcement with like little tidbits of things.
I mean, we can basically get news and updates on everything that's coming out for Christmas too. I think everyone's dubbing it now, right?
Yeah.
Because that, like, a lot of like big games now are coming out like after the holiday season, for whatever reason. Either they don't have time to put those games out, or they don't want to compete with the other games. So, that's a great time for Sony to be like, hey, look, here's all this cool shit that's coming out Q1, and everyone gets like.
So, but the question would be, where would you put Xbox Fan Fest? Like in the realm of things, because Xbox does. They don't go to Tokyo Game Show for obvious reasons, because they don't have a big footprint in Japan, but they do go to Gamescom.
Right. I mean, I honestly, I would say pit it up against the PlayStation Experience. Have it like the week after or whatever. Like, do it around that time.
I don't think they want to fragment. Because I think PlayStation fans or Xbox, a lot of them are Xbox fans, and vice versa.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to compete. This ain't the Monday Night Wars,
well,
WWE
I mean, it's
versus WCW.
It's not same weekend. It's you do it like next weekend.
I know, but if you're someone that wants to go to both,
right?
You're not going to take 2 weeks off from work.
I mean, you could. I mean, if you live in the LA area, it wouldn't be that hard to do that.
Well, first of all, it doesn't have to be in LA.
Well, I mean, it's definitely going to be on the West Coast. Like, if they're going to do it on the East Coast, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough.
I don't see how it would be tough. They could come to the East Coast.
Well, all the developers are on the West Coast and all that. A lot of the games industry is on the West Coast.
I know, but this isn't for the games. This isn't for game devs. This is for game fans. This is for fans.
Right. I mean, again, this is all hypothetical. Or this is all hypothetical.
I would say put it somewhere in the summertime.
Right.
And sort of dub it like Xbox Arcade Fan Fest or something like that.
Well, you do that. You either got to do it in May, which would be before E3.
I would do it after E3.
Or you do it after E3, before PAX West, and before
early August.
Right.
I would do it early August.
Right. Early August would be a decent time to do it, maybe. And you can reinforce the games that are coming out for the holiday season, and then maybe drop some new news about some stuff that you wanted to save from like E3 and do it in their own Microsoft way.
All right. So next up, Michael Ironside is back as Sam Fisher. All right, we got a crossover
in Splinter Cell.
Yes. Well, no, it's not in Splinter. What?
Well, I would assume that if Sam Fisher's coming back, he's going to come back in the game that he stars in.
No, he's coming back in Ghost Recon.
Interesting. Another Ubisoft Tom Clancy title.
Yeah. Well, the question is, does this mean we're going to get a new Splinter Cell game? I mean, he's back, the man himself. Okay, and he's voicing Sam Fisher again.
Right.
He said he never left.
Michael Ironside, the guy who voices Sam Fisher. Yeah,
he said he left. However, the last game, Blacklist, he was absent. They had some new guy that no one liked,
which is very interesting. Well, that's probably part of the reason why he's back.
Yeah. Well,
when you think about it.
Well, why did he leave? He probably didn't want to leave.
I think we kind of talked about it before the show a little bit. Your suggestion was that maybe he was asking for too much money, and Ubisoft was like, mm-mm.
Well, I think he probably asked for a little bit more money, or maybe a little bit more control,
right?
And they sort of called his bluff, and he was like, "All right, do it without me."
Yep.
And no one liked that game.
So there you go.
And no one liked the voice actor, the story. No one liked anything about that game.
Right. Yeah, it was a little bit of a dud. So maybe this is like maybe this is Ubisoft's way of saying like, hey, you remember this awesome character and you remember this game that you probably own already? Well, here's some DLC. We'll give you some weapons and we'll give you the night vision goggle and the SC-4000.
But his mission is like balls hard because like it's all stealth. You can't get
it's your favorite.
It's like you can't get spotted. You can't like go in guns blazing. Like,
right.
Everything
that you hate.
Everything I hate. You have to go in.
Right.
You have to go in stealth.
Right.
Wait, he was on Inside Xbox. You know.
Michael Ironside.
Mm-hmm. And I loved it how he said, you know, he turned down a role initially to do the game because he was just like, you know, there was no life in the character, right? And Ubisoft really came to him and said they really liked his voice, they really wanted him to do the game, and he said I'll only do it if I can flesh out his character. And they sort of learned how to write a story in video games.
Nice. That's like the special sauce right there, you know?
Yeah, and they really fleshed out his character. Why is he doing this? Why is he acting like this? You know?
That's what made the game great. All the little like back bits and whatnot, and you get into the family and all that, and some of the later ones, like really good stuff.
Xbox, are you listening? He was on your show, Xbox. Are you listening? Story matters.
There you go.
Story. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, so I thought that was awesome. He. Even in his 70s, he's just menacing. Like
that man's a beast. I would not want to cross that man.
He's a great villain in movies, and he's an awesome protagonist in Splinter Cell as Sam Fisher.
Yeah.
So look out for that. I'm excited only because I know. Like I played a couple of the early Splinter Cell games. Never beat them because again, stealth isn't my jam.
Right.
But the voice acting I thought was fantastic. So makes me want to go back and try to play it.
They're great games, man. Splinter Cell, the first one, Pandora Tomorrow is good. Chaos Theory is pretty good. After that, I'm not sure. I know like the first three pretty
Blacklist? No.
I hear not so good.
Also on Inside Xbox, the main theme for this month was backwards compatibility. We're bringing 19 more titles of the original Xbox to Xbox One.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go over some of the standouts, but just off the back, you know, they have like a zillion Star Wars games coming back.
Yeah, they do.
Backwards compatibility.
Yeah, they do. Some of them are exclusive to that system, too, which is interesting enough.
I mean, Disney just really, I mean, they really brokered a deal with Disney for this, right? Now, if I'm EA, I would be pissed.
Right.
Right? That Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2.
The good ones.
are being backwards compat, right? So if you have the disc, you pop it in, you can play it.
And you're good to go,
or
yeah.
you can download it.
Right.
Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. That was a good one. Jedi Starfighter, never played that one. Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Yep. First one's already on there, I believe.
Yes.
Part 2. They were Xbox, and PC, but console exclusive to the Xbox.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
You get stuff like Jade Empire. Panzer Dragoon Orta was a Sega exclusive for the Xbox. Blinks, the Time Sweeper, exclusive.
Conquer Live and Reloaded.
Right, the remake. Elder Scrolls 3, as buggy as it was, they do have that coming.
Well, I got to say, I did, as soon as I saw the list, I had a lot of those games already.
Right.
But I went out and bought Conquer.
Nice. It was probably, like $5 or whatever?
No, Conquer's expensive.
It's really?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
That game is expensive.
That's interesting.
Well, expensive for what you would. If it's $5, if you think $5, it should be $5, then it's definitely expensive. Also, but the two biggest games that everyone's talking about is Portal 2. Right, that's backwards compat.
Right.
And Red Dead Redemption 1.
The game that started it all.
Well,
there was a Red Dead Revolver too.
That was on the original Xbox.
That was the first one, yeah.
Yeah, that was on the original Xbox. They should bring that back too. I thought that game wasn't that. I don't think it was that bad.
It was okay.
It was okay. It wasn't groundbreaking. It wasn't GTA.
Right. Redemption was the one that everyone was like crazy about. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're just gonna keep getting more titles.
Yeah. I mean, somebody out there wants it. They're obviously doing it for a reason.
Well, the question is, when we get the Xbox 2, which sounds weird.
Whatever it is going to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Will all of this be backwards compatible with that? Right?
I mean,
because that's what they're going for.
Well, I mean, sure. I mean,
is that the deal? Like that they brokered with the licensing?
I mean, what? Maybe. I mean, like PlayStation is trying to like bring back PS1 classics and this and that, but it kind of gets to a point where it becomes a lot of work, So they just have to see, like, okay, is it worthwhile for us to do this? Will people actually buy this product? And if the answer is yes to that question, then they'll most certainly do it. They'll find a way to bring it back because worst case scenario, it's powerful enough to be emulated, right? You can build a quick little emulator for it and have it run on the system, and you won't have any issues. It won't be lag. You could do that with PS1 games. You could do that with PS2 games. You could maybe do that with PS3 games using the PS4's power.
All right. Next on the list, Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
Now everyone's mad that PlayStation isn't playing nice with crossplay, but I mean, this is one of the reasons why PlayStation doesn't want to do. They don't want to do crossplay because you have to have a Xbox Live account if you want to do crossplay between Switch and Xbox, right? But now Microsoft has implemented Xbox achievements with Minecraft if you're doing crossplay.
Yeah.
And Nintendo's playing nice and they're allowing this. That's kind of crazy. I can't see. PlayStation does not want you to have an Xbox Live account.
No, of course not. I mean, it goes against their whole core. Like, Nintendo doesn't have a online component yet. It doesn't have achievements yet. So Nintendo's like, yeah, fine. We don't have a problem with this. We don't have an infrastructure yet, so we will use your infrastructure.
And what happens when they do?
I mean, it's probably still going to stay the same. I don't think Nintendo really cares that much.
PlayStation doesn't want you to have Xbox achievements. They want you to have trophies.
Right. And I guess
there are trophies. There are already trophies for Minecraft.
Right. Which is enough. So this is a way to get achievements on the Switch.
But this is also this is the reason why PlayStation, who by all accounts, if you talk about they're in the lead, but they've sold the most consoles right now.
Oh, tell me that, Chestnut, again. Well, are they the leader in sales yet again?
Well, thank you for asking, Dave. Let's go over the numbers. No. But this is why they don't. Why would they want to share achievements / trophies with their competitor? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
All right. So, and at least with Minecraft is owned by Xbox, so this is why they can do that. Right? Like this is, I can see why for Minecraft, just for other games where you don't need that, they should play nice. But I can understand why they wouldn't do it for Minecraft.
Right.
And they should. I think they've been sort of radio silent, and they had that stupid explanation about keeping kids safe, like Nintendo doesn't keep kids safe, right? Or insinuating that Xbox doesn't care about keeping kids safe. I would say, hey, look, why would we want people to have an Xbox achievement, Xbox Live account? That doesn't make any sense, right? I would just say that, and people will respect that.
Right.
I think gamers would respect that.
Right.
They wouldn't be happy, but they could be like, well, yeah, I see their point.
Right. Yeah, because it's like a
competition
coming in.
Even Dave,
it's competition coming in.
Would understand.
Well, you make a okay. Every now and again, Mr. Robinson will make a salient point, and I will agree with it. And on this day, this glorious Sunday in April, I am agreeing with Dan Robinson. Mark it on your calendars.
Timestamp that.
There you go.
All right, last on our list. Let's stick with the Switch. You know how I hate these investor calls and meetings and leaks that come from it that should be only privy to investors, not the press. All right, because I like to, listen. I want to keep things. I like the element of surprise in video games.
Right.
I understand why press they want to have something. They want to have the exclusive on the site. Right. We would love to have exclusive stuff on the site.
It'd be great.
But GameStop CEO, sort of. Talking to his investors, he didn't sort of hint it. He just flat out said, Nintendo's unannounced games will lead to a very strong 2018 holiday.
Right.
Holiday 2018.
So we want to know what this guy knows. We will not know what this guy knows until E3. Because that's like really what it is, right?
Yeah.
If there's things coming out like this GameStop CEO says, which we do know some things are coming out, like Pokemon, they said is 2018.
Well. So, what game? Because first of all, he only really is about hardware, right? Like he wants to really push the hardware. If there's no hardware, there are no retail stores,
Right.
right? They don't because software. I think Nintendo makes more money off the software. Or the developer makes more money off the software. They want to push hardware and accessories.
Right.
That is
accessories is the big thing.
That's where the money is for them. We already know Metroid's not coming out in 2018. What games that are unannounced that he could be referring to? Pokemon is a great bet, right? Because we think that's coming out. I mean, there were even leaked screenshots of Pokemon on the Switch that didn't look so good. They would look more like a 3DS Pokemon port than a new.
It's early graphics. Yeah, they're what people call in the industry placeholder graphics. They're placeholders.
Well, I think maybe we could be getting ports of Pokemon games and a brand new Pokemon game.
We may get both. I would honestly think I would think it would be a brand new, not like a stadium type game, maybe even a Pokemon Stadium, but I would think more of like a mainline Pokemon game where you have the trainer and you capture Pokemon and you do the battle just like on the handhelds. So,
and another game that's a system pusher, like a system seller, Animal Crossing.
Right. Animal Crossing is probably a safe bet. We haven't had an Animal Crossing since New Leaf. Which was on the 3DS a couple years ago. So it's about time for a new one. We have the mobile thing, but that's like different. Yeah, I mean those are pretty big candidates. I think is Donkey Kong coming out this year?
I think we're getting Tropical Freeze port that's coming out next month.
Right.
I don't know if you would put out another Donkey Kong game at the same year.
Right, and be a little bit too much saturation. Right.
Yeah, I mean maybe you save the new Donkey Kong game for
2019.
Yeah. I can also. No, I can't see that coming out yet.
I could see a Kid Icarus, man. I'm saying it now. Saying it now. I want a Kid Icarus. We talked about it. Like this would be an awesome game to be on the Switch.
They did say they were resurrecting the old IP.
I mean, it very well could happen, and if it does, I'm going to be the first guy online to pre-order.
All right. How about this? Pikmin.
Yeah. Pikmin 4.
Pikmin 4.
Miyamoto
said it's finished. He said it's done during the Wii U while the Wii U was out.
Right.
He said it's done.
But it was at the tail end probably, and it's like, why even bother?
But they already had plans for the Switch. So it's like, why are we going to push this?
And in that case, you're
might just keep it for the Switch.
Right. And in that case, you're just taking a finished game and putting more polish on it, upping the texture detail, adding more polygons, whatever, upping the resolution on there, and then boom, there's your game.
Do you think they would actually release, since it was done during the Wii U life cycle, you think they would release it for both?
No.
Pikmin 4, Wii U, and the Switch?
Nobody's going to care about a Wii U release now.
Us collectors would.
Yeah, but we were a very small set of people who are collectors and also who care about Wii U as a very tiny Venn diagram.
I know, that is very small.
So, yes, we would, and all the other hardcore collectors, but not many other people.
Yeah. All right. So I would say Pokemon
Save
is a safe bet.
Yeah, Pokemon Save, Animal Crossing, I think is pretty safe.
They upgraded the Animal Crossing part of the Nintendo website, which everyone's speculating maybe that's because they're getting ready for a new Animal Crossing game. So
could be
Animal Crossing, Pokemon, and I think Pikmin 4 would be a good guess for this year. And next year would definitely be sort of like a Metroid and maybe a new Donkey Kong game. So, all right. Why don't we take a break, and when we come back, our convo of the week, we'll talk PAX 2018. And we're back. All right, let's get into the convo of the week. PAX
2018.
PAX 2018. PAX East 2018.
Oh, it was 4 days of magic. I would say the best PAX that I've ever been to I'm gonna also posit best PAX that you've ever been to.
You're just gonna speak for me?
Yeah.
You're just gonna talk.
Well, prove me wrong.
You know what? The first PAX 2016 is right up there as the best PAX I've ever been to.
I see what you did.
Yeah, I know.
I see what you did.
That's that lawyer talk.
Okay.
Okay.
Thursday was fantastic because there wasn't a lot of people there.
Yeah, funny enough, you would think Thursday, the first day, the opening day, because opening ceremonies and stuff, you would think that would be packed.
Right. Well, there's a lot of people that are just going for the weekend and whatnot, just going for the one day.
Friday and Saturday were sold out.
Friday and Saturday were sold out, yeah. They were packed.
Yeah, so packed. PAX was packed.
PAX was packed.
Yeah. Well, Thursday, I think, was like the day that I got to see the most.
Right.
Because it wasn't as packed. I thought it would be, but it was balls cold outside.
Yeah, it ended up snowing up there. I mean, granted, it snowed in New York on Monday, but it also snowed on Friday up there.
Well, the snow, it's not like last year. Last year we had a blizzard.
Yeah.
While we were out there.
I missed that. Well, that's actually when my flight got all jacked up.
That's why it got delayed,
Yeah, I had to sleep in the airport. Fun stuff.
But we were there all 4 days. The longest PAX I've ever been to. I can say that.
Yeah. Well, longest PAX anyone's ever been to. It's the first. It's the first one that's 4 days.
I would say the most exciting thing that happened was when I thought my Switch bricked.
This guy over here, my co-host here, was he blew a gasket because I bought a third-party charging USB-C wire
At the airport.
Just the wire itself at the airport, and we had talked on the last episode about like the Nyko docks and the Insignia docks bricking the Nintendo Switches, and Dan was flipping out. I'm like, no, it's fine, it's fine.
No, listen,
don't worry.
Listen, I had the Switch using your wire because I didn't bring my charger. I put it in the hotels have a plug jack. And they have a USB connection.
Right.
I plugged it in overnight. I saw the little light go on like it's charging, and I left it like that overnight. Then I even played it while it was charging. The next day, and sort of like towards the end of the day at Thursday, the first day of PAX, I tried to play the Switch because it took a break. Switch wouldn't come on at all. Usually when it's low power, I get the little low power battery symbol, right? Nothing.
Right. So
Nothing.
it was dead, and you were like, "This is
it."
It
Completely dead.
I had to calm you down off the ledge.
I went a little crazy.
You did. Long story short, we brought it back to the hotel room. Dan does not know how to use outlets.
Oh, stop
Because
it.
I didn't have any problems with any of my stuff. I used the same outlets and the same cables to charge my stuff.
You did not use the same USB.
I did. I used the one to charge the I used it to charge the portable battery, and it worked.
The top, not the bottom.
Oh, get out of here! Get out of here!
You didn't use the bottom one.
Well, regardless, you were about to buy another Switch.
I was so pissed.
You're welcome for saving you $300, by the way.
Well, I've been thinking about buying a second Switch.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I was okay. You did talk me off the ledge. I'll give you that. I was gonna go ballistic. Okay. So I was like, oh my god, we just did an episode about third party docks.
I know.
The wire.
It's all your worst fears come to light. It's like, damn.
I know.
And all because I forgot my charging wires at home, so I had to buy one at the airport, which was annoying.
So ultimately, you're saying it's your fault. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. You know what? I'll take it.
So yeah, so I thought what we could do is we kind of run down some highlights of the show because we played a ton of games.
I would say over 30 games. We played.
Talked to a lot of devs, got a lot of good info. It was just crazy. So the first game on our list, and I'm just gonna say like these aren't in any particular order. These are just how we have them on the list. First game that we're gonna talk about is Black Future 88. It is a 2D side-scroller twin-stick shooter. It's got the retro futurism style that everybody loves now, which I think is kind of great. It's got a nice like chiptune soundtrack and all that. Like the visuals, the audios, I think we were both pretty hype about. So you use the left stick to move around. You use the right stick to shoot and aim, right? So you can kind of walk in one direction and shoot another, which is kind of cool. And they limit your weapon capacity to only 2. So you do find a lot of weapons lying around, and you have to kind of pick and choose like which ones you want. Some have limited ammo. I think your base weapon is unlimited, and then all the other ones you pick up.
Well,
I
your
think,
base
have, like,
weapon
a
can't
max
really
stock.
do that much damage.
Right.
So
It's
you
kind
have-
of like a pea shooter.
Yeah, so you definitely have to upgrade your weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the best thing was, once a certain weapon you can sort of teleport with, which uses some of the energy from that weapon, right? So you can't keep doing that.
Right,
You can't keep
right.
shooting then teleporting.
Right.
Right.
You can
So
zip around a little
You
bit.
can zip around a little bit. So I thought that was cool. So you have to pick and choose, when you actually use that feature. I like the shotgun.
Shotgun was nice. Yeah.
The shotgun was pretty.
Shotgun
nice.
was nice. I
like
like some
that
of the
game.
energy weapons. Those were kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like,
But the soundtrack is definitely cool. I mean, I futuristic pixel art style game. It can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Super cool. I mean, we got to meet the creator of the soundtrack. That was kind of cool when we were talking to one of the devs there, and we kind of got a little insight into the game and whatnot. I think they're wanting to put out a soundtrack on vinyl.
Oh,
which would be awesome.
that
So,
would. But you know what? It's just another thing for me to collect. I
know.
know everyone's
I know.
collecting vinyl.
Yeah, man. They look cool.
especially with soundtrack with games. That's
Yeah.
just not something I mean, you have a record player now.
I do have a record player. Yeah, you
You
saw
have-
that in the living room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have a vinyl.
I
now.
picked it up for $1, by the way.
Well, you get into collecting vinyl soundtracks. For
Yeah,
video
I have a
games?
couple. I have a couple already. I have like 3 or 4.
So yeah, it's just something I haven't actually. I don't have the space for it.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It would be a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The next game I thought that I really liked on this, and I said we have to play this game,
Mm-hmm.
is 20XX.
Right. The homage to Mega Man, as it will.
It was like the Mega Man clone.
Mm-hmm.
It's what Mighty Number 9 should have been.
It's exactly what Mighty Number 9 should have been. It has some rando elements in there though, so every time you play, like the stages are random. You do have to fight a certain set of monsters. You can do them in whichever order you want. There is an end to it. You can get to the end and fight the final boss. I saw the Super Beard Bros playing it, and they managed to get to the end. Every time you die, you basically reset. So your power-ups that you get during the level and whatnot go away. You can buy permanent upgrades, which kind of help you in subsequent playthroughs.
And we played co-op.
We did do the co-op, which
played
the co-op
co-op?
is new. They have a couple new characters you can play as too. So the game is out on Steam, and I think it's coming to consoles too.
We're looking at coming to console.
Yeah, I think they
No
were saying
announcement yet.
right. So they definitely want to do that. They got to see about all of that, but it did play great. We're using Xbox controllers on the PC, so it was pretty smooth. Controls were tight, I think.
Yeah.
they were pretty solid.
No, I think we were using PlayStation controllers.
Oh, PS controllers
Yeah,
on
we
the
were
on
play-
the
we used
PC.
PlayStation 4 controllers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next game is I think I have to give it
This is your
my game of the show.
this is your game of the show right here.
This is the game of
It was a great game. We tried so many times to come back to this booth to play this game, and they just kept being a big line, and it was like, ugh.
And I love this game so much I brought the T-shirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did.
The Messenger. And you know this from the Nindies. It was actually on the Nindies. And it was the highlight of the Nindies.
Right.
Everyone, every outlet was talking about the Messenger. This was sort of like a Ninja Gaiden meets Shovel Knight type of game. But you got to play it. How did it feel?
It felt great. So, like, yeah, I mean, the gameplay was definitely tight. Graphics and sound were good. Like, I was really jiving to it. I really liked the soundtrack, by the way. Like, the interesting mechanic about this game is it has 2 different art styles. It has a 8-bit and 16-bit art style.
So it's like a NES/SNES game.
Right. And I thought that was just like a button you could switch between, or you could choose, I want to play in this style or this style. It's actually a gameplay mechanic. So, like, when you start, like, running around and whatnot, you'll go through these gates, and they'll switch the art style to either 16 or 8, and they will change the level layout. So the puzzles are like you're kind of warping through these like two different phases, I guess, or whatever it is. And like now there's like spikes in front of you where there wasn't spikes before.
But I think it's time. I think if you're an 8-bit, you're like present, and if you're in 16-bit, you're in the future. Because
based on the storyline,
based
yes.
on the storyline, because there was like a tree that's in the 8-bit that's no longer there
In the
There was
16-bit.
like a stump that was there in the 16-bit, so the tree is no longer there. So it's sort of like it's sort of like a time warp.
Yeah, they did have. I mean, I wasn't really following the story so much because I kind of wanted to get to the good gameplay elements. But yeah, I mean that's like kind of awesome that they like built all that in.
Yeah.
Like it's got it has a reason for being in the game world.
And we talked to the developer, and he said he's loved Ninja Gaiden since he was a kid, and he's had this game in his mind since he was like 8 years
Right. He's like, I want to make a Ninja Gaiden homage. I want to make a game, you know, and he finally did it. And I think it's going to do great. And we are very happy it's coming out on the Switch.
It is coming out on the Switch. I would be even happier if it was a physical release, which I think we'll get eventually.
I think it's going to do. Yeah, I think it's going to do that well. That it will necessitate like a limited run
or an IM 8-bit
or an IM 8-bit to do it. Yeah.
Type physical release. Right. I mean, come on. Axiom Verge got a physical release.
I know. Well, eventually
and
it
a
did.
special edition.
Eventually it did.
Yeah. So I love that game.
Yeah.
But that was my game of the show.
Right.
But I gotta say, you know, because there's no secret that I call you guys PC geeks. All right, because I don't play on PC.
Oh, here it comes.
I'm not a PC player, but I gotta tell you, I'm the man. Okay, I step into your world and I dominate. Okay,
I'm gonna let you go on this self-congratulatory.
All right. I don't
little
play,
fest.
I don't play games on some keyboard and mouse. Okay, but I step into your world and I dominate.
Okay.
I
Correction.
Smackdown.
Correction. We dominated. It was a.
Yes, you guys were a part of my team.
Okay.
Yes.
So we ended up. Wow. Dan is really giving him all the credit here. We got to step up, and it was me, Dan, and our friend Steven, who was on the show.
We got to play Overcharge, Aftercharge.
Which Aftercharge is a 3v3 combat. Where you play either attack or defend, basically. You can play as the robots, or you can play as the...
You can play as the robots to defend. And
right.
Then you could play...
I forget what the other faction was.
But you play, as
you play as like the human side, who's like the offense.
First-person shooter.
Right. And basically, it's like a... there's these points you have to defend, right? These little charge stations or whatever they are, and you have to defend them from the attackers and whatnot. You can choose your different classes and whatnot, which is like kind of cool. So each side gets their own classes. There's like, the heavy guy, the kind of sniper guy, the like support guy. They have like all of those like basic archetypes and whatnot. But I think the characters felt different enough, right? We all kind of like chose slightly different characters, which was kind of cool, fit our play style. We won both rounds, which was we got
to play both offense and defense.
And that's what they said. Like the game is going to end up doing that. You're going to do like 2 rounds, and then it'll choose a winner based on how well you performed. The game was tight. I liked it.
What I thought was interesting when you play as the robots, when you play the robots were mostly defense, right?
Yeah.
Defense.
Yeah, the robots were defending.
You're invisible until you sort of start, because you, as a robot, you got to go in and you got to sort of destroy those certain points. All right, those.
Oh, as the human, you destroy the points. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, as a robot, you destroy the points. As the human, you had a gun. You were the first person. Well, I guess no. The robots were offense, and when you had the guns, you were defense. All right. So when we were sort of offense, we played as the robots. Right. You have to go and you don't have any weapons. You just have your fist, and you have to sort of bash sort of this sort of like you said, like save point crystal.
Yeah, they're little white territory points.
Well, but you're invisible until you start smashing it.
Right.
And then you they can see you, you have to strategically start bashing and then move away.
Yeah, well, they basically tagged it as invisible versus invincible.
Yes,
I think was like kind of their tagline, which was kind of interesting. So you're invisible until you attack, is what you were saying.
Yeah. Even though when you have the gun, there's sort of a thing where it sort of shoots a line where you can still see them, but if you shoot that line, you can't shoot them. Right. That's more for one of your teammates to come in, to start shooting, and you as the robot have to try to get away and move, like ducking, hide in those corners so they can't sort of like get a lock on you.
Yeah, I mean it definitely requires a lot of cooperation. We kind of banded together a little bit. I noticed everyone was hovering around a particular like charge station, so I was like, I'm going to go to this one all the way on the other end where nobody's at right now and bash it up. And it worked out great.
Yeah, it worked out great because Dan Robinson Dan Robinson
You were
stepped
being-
into the PC world.
You were being a distraction.
and I became a distraction.
Yeah, you were the best distraction. Thank you very much.
because I didn't know how to move. Because I didn't know the keys to move.
WASD.
I have no idea.
You see how green this guy is?
Because I came in and I dominated. I dominated. Okay, I came in and I said, I'm gonna stand out here in plain sight for them, for you guys to go do your thing. Okay, I dominated.
On a serious note, you enjoy yourself? You have a good time?
It was cool. I mean, I was better with the gun.
Sure. It felt a little more natural.
It felt a little bit more natural.
Yeah.
You know, using the mouse and keyboard with the shooter. You know, playing defense, trying to destroy the robots.
Well, I mean, it's a different mechanic. You know, like you haven't really seen. I mean, it felt kind of new. You know, it felt kind of new from like all the games that I played. Like, I think it was an interesting spin on everything.
Listen, I dig it. And I was like, this I could play. I could play this. I don't know if I could play the robot again.
Well,
I don't know if I can play the robot again.
Right.
I can play with the gun.
Yeah.
So I can play with the gun.
So another game that we saw, Lightfall, which was also on the Indies, that is coming out to Switch. And
that game was awesome.
I believe Steam as well. It is Super Meat Boy-esque, wherein it's kind of like a running. I don't want to say running gun. It's like it's a fast-paced running platformer, I guess, if that makes sense. In the vein of Super Meat Boy, where there's a lot of traps around the level and you kind of have to navigate, and you can kind of do the jump off the wall like you can in Meat Boy.
But you create the wall.
Yes, you can create up to 4 blocks
While you're in the air. You have to touch down and then it resets.
Right. And it looks like there are other power-ups you get also as well. Like we were talking to the devs and whatnot, and they said, oh yeah, like, you know, some of the stuff isn't in there yet because it's still the demo and whatnot, but there's some like extra stuff I think on top of that. I mean, it looks super cool. Again, the art style was great, you know.
I can see that definitely this is a speedrunner's dream.
Oh, it had that vibe to it. Yeah, it had that vibe to it. You know, I think it's going to be on the difficult side. You know, like just like Super Meat Boy and like Celeste.
Yeah, but I listen. I was really digging the game. I mean, I think we played this first because we played Messenger at the end. And when I played this game, I was like, I really love this game. I even said to you while we were playing, I was like, this may be my game of the show.
Right.
Because I like the fact that the puzzles are difficult to where you have to figure out where you have to put the block to jump.
Right.
And then you have a short jump and you can double jump, and you can over jump, and you can't make any more. You can't make any more platforms because you only do 4, and you have to touch the ground and reset.
And you end up hitting those spikes.
And you hit those spikes. So it was sort of definitely challenged me while I was playing.
Right. I am so happy this next game was here at PAX. I thought it was going to be here. You know, they made the announcement a little bit before. Guacamelee 2, they had a co-op demo. My God, I don't know. Did you get a chance to play it?
I didn't get a chance to play it.
You didn't get a chance to play it. They had a co-op boss battle where you could play as. So there was like 4 controllers there, and you kind of just like pick up and play. Like there wasn't huge lines around it, which was awesome. But if you ever played the first Guacamelee, it feels very similar. You remember in the first one that you could morph into a chicken?
Yes.
Right? That was like one of the things to get around and navigate the level. Chicken now has fighting powers. So you can do like chicken uppercuts, and you can peck the
They've listened
guy.
to the people. People wanted to fight as the chicken.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, and we fought this like big like multi-tiered boss, and it was all like really cool, like how you had to like work your way around. Like he'd make like platforms that you had to like jump up onto and like hit him in a certain spot. But it felt great. I am super hyped for this. You know.
Are we getting a physical? Did they announce a physical release?
I don't know. We know Guacamelee 1. It's one of my pickups of the week. That definitely eventually came out on a physical release. I would hope so, but I don't know.
Yeah, I have it on PS4.
Right.
So, I listen. I wanted to play that game. I didn't get a chance to play that game. I took video of you playing the game and I posted it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, a game that we both got to play. Well, you got to play more than I got to play.
Well, you were having Switch problems all weekend. Let me tell you.
I know. It's a game called Sleep Tight. It's sort of like a twin stick shooter where you have to sort of like survive just raids of monsters. And I thought the cool thing about this was it's sort of like you play as a kid surviving, like in the daytime. you're like in your living room, right? And in the daytime, no monsters, and you have to level up, and you have to sort of
You build out your base.
build
a
up
little
your
bit,
base,
yeah.
and you build out your gun, right? And then when night hits is when the monsters come, the raids of monsters, and you have to survive the raid.
Yeah, you're basically like building a pillow fort around. You can put turret.
Literally,
Yeah.
a pillow fort. It was a fort of pillows. Yes.
So you can get like base guns like turrets and whatnot. You can refill your ammo, which I learned is very important. You need ammo.
You need ammo.
Yeah,
yes.
the biggest
there are no
thing,
melee.
The biggest
There's no
thing is
melee
ammo.
in this.
There is no melee, which is interesting. Like I figured you'd be able to like swing a pillow or something, but none of that. You do get power ups and whatnot, and you get like you basically just playing like wave after wave, and they get like increasingly tougher and tougher. We got to play wave 6 through 10, I think. It was fantastic. One of the highlights of the show.
It was, and I think one of the guys who did the art, sort of did the art style for the game, he like worked on Iron Man and
He worked
Game
on
of
some big
Thrones,
stuff,
something
yeah.
like that. They told me.
Yeah,
But sadly enough, I didn't get a chance to play a lot of this because the Switch demo,
you got to play a little bit of it. Yeah.
the Switch they had demoed for me wasn't plugged in and died in the middle of my game.
Right.
So they had to find a plug and plug it in, and then I had to wait for this. Well, I couldn't play anymore because the Switch had to charge. So I watched you play.
Yeah, it was good
for like 10 minutes.
It's good. I was definitely digging it.
And you know who was really good at that game? Steven.
Yeah, that's right. Steven rocked it.
He was awesome in that game. He built up his fort and his turrets in the right places. He was awesome in that game.
Yeah, so this is Steam and Switch, which is great. I think this is coming out later this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that game looked awesome. We finally got the hands-on Detroit Become Human. Let's go for a heavy hitter. We hit a lot of indies. Let's go for a heavy hitter.
I know. Well, they're surprisingly very heavy on the indies. Like 60-70% of the show was indie games.
A lot of the games that were shown by PlayStation and Microsoft were games that, like, I played PUBG, right? Like, I own that game. I didn't really need to be there to play that game.
Right, yeah. They had some stuff that was already out and whatnot.
In Detroit Become Human, like, I know I was really looking forward to this game, even though it has its controversy with the demo from last year.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about some stuff. The Europe was up in arms over one of the scenario videos they presented.
Yeah, but we finally got hands on, and we got the demo from, I think, from last E3.
Right,
where you're a detective android, and you have to go in and sort of put together the clues of what might have happened.
Right. So you're playing like a kind of like a puzzle adventure, and you have to figure out what's going on, talking to people,
and
analyzing the scenes.
And your choices matter.
Right. How you handle each and every situation, all the amount of clues you pick up.
Yeah.
Gives you like different dialogue options, which is kind of cool.
And we had 2 different endings.
We did. They're out of a possible 5 for this particular scenario. And basically, like, what it is, like, there's a gunman. You figure out there's a gunman.
There's a renegade android.
A renegade android who has captured this little girl, and they're up on the roof on this, like, basically on the ledge, and he's about to take her off the ledge and like kill her, and you have to diffuse the situation, I guess. And there's different ways to do that. Out of the 5 possible endings, it's like very interesting because after you beat the level, it shows your path and the things you found and didn't find. And then it shows what other paths are still locked already. And I was looking and I'm like, oh, like I got one of the 3 endings that other people had gotten. And then I looked over at your screen and you had unlocked one of the endings that, one of the 3 endings that other people unlocked. There were still 2 locked endings on both of our screens, which was very interesting. So there's like a way to like play that, which people haven't played yet. I'll say this, like going in, I was like, oh, I know how they want me to play the game, right? You know, they want me to be the good guy and, you know, save whoever's in trouble and kind of diffuse the situation and whatnot. And I went in, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and, see if I can, break the game a little bit and, try and do something a little different because that's, what everyone's going to do. And then, like, as soon as you get into the whole scenario, like, you see, like, okay, there was an accident going on here. There was some violence. You see, like, the fish tank is shattered. There's a fish on the floor. There's some gunshots. There's some dead people on the ground. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. It's like, I tried to not do the good thing, but I couldn't. Like, all the data was stacked up against, you know, whoever committed this crime, you know, and like caused all this damage and violence and whatever. And I was like, based on all the information I have, like I have to save the victim who's up on the roof, you know. And you know, I did my diligence and went through, and I definitely missed a couple of things, you know. I found as much as I could out of it, but I'll tell you this too, like moving around and like talking to people and just like the game animations, they were amazing, right? Like I stepped over a dead body and it was like a realistic, like he like kind of like stuttered a little bit, positioned himself, like stepped over, like took like a big step over like the dead body. I was like, wow, that's like, that was big. That kind of drew me in. That drew me in.
I mean, I like the game. I mean, it's going to be sort of like Heavy Rain-ish. Right?
Yeah.
Heavy Rain
Well, it's
feel,
the same studio. Yeah.
Where you're going to play different characters. That's going to lead to a certain sort of, you know, scenario. Right. Finale. Mm-hmm. But I guess if you lose certain characters, you will lose the final ending. It's sort of like Until Dawn meets a Telltale game. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Like on Until Dawn is a scenario where everyone lives, and you sort of get like that feel good ending, mm-hmm. or the scenario where everyone dies.
Right, yeah.
And then you don't really get that ending, right? Yeah.
So it's gonna be a lot of replayability, I think.
A lot of replayability on that, and I really liked it. Mm-hmm. I've already got my pre-order in, so I'm sold. Nice. I'm already sold. I wonder if there's a special edition. Well, I've been more special edition.
You should have checked on that before you made the pre-order.
I should have. Yes, I should have. I should have.
Yep. So the game of the show for me right here is. And they definitely did have a big booth, like set up like a prison yard, which I thought was awesome. And everyone was wearing like the orange jumpsuits.
The line was long for that.
It was Scum. You know, we got a special preview of Scum, and you know, the developer was nice enough to walk me through what Scum is all about. Because my initial impressions of Scum is, oh, this is another Fortnite clone, or it's you know, like a battle royale type game, and it's like, oh, we've seen a ton of these, right? And it does have that, right? The basic plot of the game is much like The Running Man, if you remember that classic Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
I thought you were talking about the dance.
No, sorry. Not the dance, The Running Man. Follow me on this.
You want to see me do The Running Man?
No. Follow me on this.
That was my joint back in the day, man. At the club doing The Running Man. Okay, no, go ahead.
All right, so basically, like the plot of The Running Man is there is a TV show that pits prisoners against each other. For ratings, right? That's the whole thing, and that's what this is. You know, you are live on TV. They have a network, and you have like implants inside your head and whatnot, so they can monitor like all your biometrics and all that, and you know, make sure you don't go off the rails and whatnot. And they put you on this island with other convicts, and there's a couple different modes to play, right? There is a single player where you can do like missions, which is kind of awesome on the island. There is the multiplayer. You can do like the head-to-head, which is like, you know, 5-on-5 or 6-on-6 or whatever. I got to play that mode, and that was like really awesome because you can do things like you can climb up on like the roof of the building, and you can like open the door to give yourself a ledge to climb up on, and then you can go and close the door behind you, right, to make it seem like, oh, well, nobody was here because the door's closed, right? And then you have a good like sniper perch point, right? So like that was kind of cool. There's like different weapons scattered throughout the level, different types of body armor and whatnot. You can pick all that up. It was really cool. It looked beautiful. You know, I got hands on with some of like the engine and whatnot, and how they tried to get like the momentum in the game. Like that was like a big thing. Like, when you run, there's like a little bit of startup running animation. That's really cool. The big thing about it, though, the thing that I want to talk about is the survival mode, right? Which the survival mode puts you in the game world, and it's basically like you're on a desert island, right? So you build your character much like an RPG and whatnot, and then you're put down in the game world, right? So you can make your guy like super buff, which means he can carry a lot, but he's probably not going to have a lot of stamina or be able to run very quickly or very far. You know, you can put your points in like, I think like 4 different main attributes, and then a ton of secondary attributes like, you know, small arms, you know, big guns,
T-Rex arms,
crafting. No, there is no T-Rex arms in the game. You know, you can get like cooking attributes or hunting attributes or whatever, because you need to survive in this game, right? Which means you need to eat. And they were kind of showing off like, okay, look, if I eat like certain types of food, it'll affect my body in certain ways, right? So like, a guy who's like beefy needs a lot of protein, needs a lot of meat. So you need to look for those particular things. You need to kill a deer and cook that meat up inside like a pot and whatnot. So you got to craft all the things, right? I need like a hunting axe to, kill this animal. I need to be able to craft a fire out of like wood and tinder and whatnot, make a fire to cook this stuff in, right? Like if you eat like things like a bag of potato chips, right? It gives you instant energy, but then you feel hungry because it's kind of empty calories.
It's junk food.
Exactly. So all these things are like in the game, right? If it gets very cold outside, you don't have enough layers of clothing, you will get, hypothermia, right? You can get diseases in the game. It's crazy. So I was very floored by all of this. The multiplayer demo that I got to play was fantastic, but I think that for me, that only like scratched the surface. There's so much more that I want to get out of it. So we will definitely be bringing you more of this game. Like it is my like game of the show. Definitely,
wow.
Definitely up there. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds like Fortnite meets Zelda Breath of the Wild.
It felt a little Breath of the Wild, yeah.
The details, and as far as like how much the food you need to eat and the clothes you need to wear.
Yes, it was like that on steroids. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
That's crazy. Another game that like I was floored by as soon as I saw it, and I was like, "You got to play it!" Like I was like, "Where are you? You were playing Scum." When I was like, "Listen, as soon as you're done with Scum, like, you got to come play this game. You got to come play this game." Super retro maker. So if you like old school style games, if you like playing old school Zelda, if you like playing old school Castlevania,
right, Metroid, Zelda,
and you like Mario Maker, this is what this game is, right? Like an 8-bit style game, where 8-bit style game Maker, it's only PC right now, right? It's only Steam.
It is on Steam currently right now, yeah. Or it's going to be on Steam.
It's going to be out on Kickstarter.
Right.
It's still a Kickstarter
right.
game.
And I think they said they were looking to potentially port it to different systems, but there's nothing set in stone yet.
But you started out sort of like they already had set levels made to play at PAX. And I think you play sort of the Mega Man style game first. You sort of evolve into the next level would be Castlevania.
Right.
And
then there was a Metroid segment.
And there was a Metroid segment, and then you got into the Maker part.
Right. So once you got done with the demo, like you could enter Maker mode. You could do that at any point in time in the demo, but they're like, just wait at the end. And then at the end, you get like all the art assets. So you can pick like, okay, I wanna build the Zelda world, right? You get a ton of different tiles, monster tiles and trap tiles and all this different stuff. It's basically like Mario Maker,
and it's co-op
right?
too, right? I think it was co-op because you had two sprites on you had two players.
Maybe. I think they may have some sort of co-op for it. I'm not entirely sure. But I mean, like,
well, it's still early, right?
Right.
Because this game is still it's going to. I think the Kickstarter is going to start over the summertime.
Right. But I mean, it looked like really cool. The only downside, and I know why they didn't do it, and well, they also explain why they didn't do it, is port any like custom tile or any like custom outside assets, because they want to make sure the game is balanced, right? And it's the same as Mario Maker, right? Mario Maker, you can do a lot of cool things with the tool set they give you, right? So if you can do a lot with the tool set, then I think it's going to do like fantastically well.
I really like that game, and that would be a perfect game for the Switch.
I know, right? I mean, it really had like a nice intuitive like UI on there, like, I could definitely see playing it on the Switch.
I would say the only thing is they would need to redo their logo, because their logo sort of had like sort of clones of all the different big characters.
Yeah.
But the clone of Link, he sort of had that green hoodie. He looked like Link, but with the green hoodie. It looked too much like Link,
right?
Old school Link,
right? It was a little too copyright infringement.
Yeah. I think they would need to change that. It need to be, it was sort of like a Zelda-ish type of hoodie. It needs to be a real hoodie,
right?
and sort of change. Yeah, I think they need to change that just a little bit. I did play. There was some VR at PAX, and the only VR game I played was a game that we actually talked about on the show a few weeks ago. Was Persistence.
I gave up my spot in the PlayStation VR for this man right here.
Yes, thank you.
And you were really hype about going in on this game, so I'm like, all right, take my spot.
I played Persistence, and I gotta say, I thought it would be more of a shooter than it already was, but it's definitely a like a survival horror shooter in space.
Mm-hmm.
It is literally if Resident Evil 7 meets Alien Isolation.
Right. No. This is the one that they showed at the Video Game Awards or the Game Awards, right?
I don't know. Wasn't it? I don't know if it was at the Game Awards.
Maybe not. I thought it was one. Maybe there was a different game. Maybe I'm thinking of a different.
No,
game.
I don't think this was at the Game Awards.
Okay.
I know I saw it on the PlayStation blog, and I was like, we got to talk about this because the screenshots and what they said the gameplay would be. I thought it was great.
So this is single player experience.
Single player experience.
Okay, right up your alley.
Right up my alley. You do collecting in this game too. Like you do a lot of opening cabinets and stuff to see to find health, to find bullets, and you get trapped because a lot of times there's a bomb.
Right.
Oh,
I see. They like booby trap the chest that you're trying to get into, right?
Yeah, and there's no move controller. You use an actual controller.
Sure.
And you can move. The movement is smooth, but you can also sort of teleport like you can do in Doom VR.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm fine with. Scary as hell. I gotta
see, that's where you probably got lost, right?
That's
like,
I can't do this. Where are the lights? I need the light. Like I'm part of the shit where there's no lights.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh my god,
flickering off in the distance and.
Oh my god. Yeah. You do a lot of crafting. You can upgrade your weapons.
Nice.
Which I liked. So that gives you a reason to collect. To do the collectathon and go through all the cabinets and stuff.
Right.
And the scary part is like there was like this secret compartment that I found where and as I go through the entrance to get out of the secret compartment, I see the monster's legs, the zombie's legs just walking slowly.
You're like, oh Jesus!
And I'm like, oh my god,
that's great. So I mean, you were cool on it, but it was a little too tense.
I'm not with spooky games.
It was a little too tense.
I'm not with spooky play. I think you would play it in VR. Because you beat Resident Evil.
Played it exclusively in VR.
Yeah, I think you would play this.
Yeah.
My own issue, and this is the growing pains of VR. The game was a little buggy. The game was a little buggy.
Well, when does it come out? Did you get a launch date window on it? No.
It's 2018.
It is okay. So it is definitely coming out this year.
Definitely a 2018.
So they may have a little bit of time to polish this up before it comes out.
I mean, I was just like, why am I moving left? I'm not even moving, and it's moving left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a little buggy. I would say the buggiest thing that I found was, and they give you 20 minutes with the game. The buggiest thing I found was I got into this dark corridor, and it was like I got hit. And I'm like, got hit by what? I'm turning around, and I don't see anything. There's nothing hitting me. Right. I'm like, are the monsters invisible? Right. And then I saw a monster through the window, and I shot him, and I'm like, why can't I shoot him through the window? So I was like, okay. And then I'm still getting hit, and I'm like, is there visible monsters? And the guy was like, no, I think it's you hit a bug. I'm sorry. And I'm like, all right, this is.
So it needs a little bit of work. Yeah.
It needs a little bit of polish. And again,
but it looked real promising.
It looked real promising.
Okay.
And again, it's PSVR, so it's PlayStation 2-ish type graphics. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be the best thing in the world, right? It's exclusively VR, I think, right?
Yes.
Okay. VR. Yeah, so you need to have the VR headset to play this game.
Yeah, but I liked it. And I want to end this list with the classic. Coming back to life.
Oh.
Shaq Fu.
We both got to play the new Shaq Fu.
Shaq Fu. I thought it was good. It is not a fighter. It is not a fighter like the
It is
original
not a tournament
Shaq Fu.
fighter. It's a street roller. Yeah.
Side-scrolling street roller. I was all about. I was like,
it's okay.
I liked it. I liked it. The story was kind of wonky because he was, he's like adopted. And he in this family in China or Japan.
I think it may have been China. Yeah.
And he has to help save his village.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so weird. Like, what'd you think of the rap too?
A new song. He had a new rap song for the demo.
Oh my god. Yeah.
It brought me back because I liked the original Shaq Fu. It was frustrating as hell. Right. But I liked the original Shaq Fu. Well, I liked it because I was forced to like it because it was the only game I got at the time.
Right. So you have nostalgia goggles.
I do have nostalgia goggles for Shaq Fu, and it was hard. Shaq Fu was hard.
Right.
All right, and I think I made it halfway through until I sort of gave up.
Yeah, I was okay on the new one. I thought it was all right. It could use some more polish.
They had a bigger booth than I thought they would. They literally had like 6 demo stations.
Yeah,
4 or 6 demo stations.
Yeah. So, it was okay. It was okay. But it is coming out soon, so this is probably going to be pretty close to it's probably going to be pretty close to the final version of the game. You know, it's probably going to be a pass of the game that comes out. Probably going to pass on it.
I'm definitely getting this game.
You're going to get it? Oh.
So, all right. So if you had to give top 3 games of the show in
top
order,
3 games in order?
In order.
3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
Oof. Okay. Well, I know what 2 and 1 are. I'd probably have to give it to
It's really tough for you.
The Messenger.
Oh,
The Messenger 3.
The Messenger number 3. Are you
Sleep Tight number 2 and Scum number 1.
the Messenger number 3?
Dude, it made the list. It podiumed.
Oh wow.
It podiumed.
Wow.
You didn't even get to play the game yet.
Listen. I don't need to play that game.
Uh-huh.
I see enough.
Look, it was good. Other games that had better art style. Not to say this had bad art style in any way, shape, or form. It just it didn't hit me the right way that it hit a lot of other people. I really like the soundtrack, but yeah. Okay. But I mean, hey, number 3 out of the 30 games that we saw is nothing to sneeze at.
It's nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I want to know what your number 1 is going to be. I want to know what number 3 and number 2 are going to be.
All right. So number 3, I got to give it to Super Retro Maker.
Okay.
I thought this was an awesome concept.
Mm-hmm.
I want this to be a reality.
Right.
Like, I really want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So number 2, I got. All right. You know what? Before I give you number 2, I want to give an honorable mention.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna give an honorable mention to Sleep Tight.
Uh-huh.
Sleep Tight was really good.
Sleep Tight was. Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't get I didn't get a chance to really play enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was melee in that game.
Yeah.
When you run out of bullets, that you can sort of maybe hit them with a pillow, right? Sort of have a way to actually continue to fight.
Right.
When you out of bullets.
I thought that was. I agree. I thought it was it seemed like a gameplay flaw. Because if you didn't have any way to hit the monsters, it's like game over.
It is game over, right? And that's a shame.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I got to give Lightfall. Lightfall number 2.
Okay, Lightfall number 2. Wait. Sleep Tight's number 3?
No, Sleep Tight was an honorable mention.
Oh, okay.
I gotta say honorable. Definitely number 3 was Super Retro Maker.
3 was Super Retro Maker, right? 2 was Lightfall.
2 was Lightfall.
And number 1 was The Messenger.
And honorable mention of Sleep Tight, and number 1 is The Messenger.
Right.
I thought Messenger was number.
Okay.
Really cool.
Yeah. I mean, these are the games that we just went over. Are the cream of the crop. Like, they're like the best games that we saw at the show. And then out of that, Messenger definitely gets time.
Well, listen,
for sure.
It was either The Messenger or Shaq Fu.
There we go. There we go. So yeah, that about wraps it up. That's our PAX talk. That's episode 113 in the books. We want to thank you guys for sticking with us, for jumping on that train called Rated G, and being a fan and liking us and doing everything good that you do. If you do want to interact with us, you can do so on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, YouTube, and Vero at Rated G for Gamers. You can always email us, info@ratedgforgamers.com. So please like, listen, subscribe, and as always,
keep gaming.